Welcome. Settle down. The lesson begins. You have been taught to analyze the narcissist's tactics as if you were studying the battle plans of a rival general. You have memorized the names of their curses: gaslighting, triangulation, love bombing. You have filled your ledger with evidence of their crimes. This is necessary work. It is the cartography of your own ruin, and a map is essential for the escape. But you have made a fundamental error. You have granted the creature a mind. You have assumed strategy where there is only instinct. You have assumed malice where there is only a void. You are here to learn something new. Today, we put away the grimoires of psychological warfare, and we open the far darker texts of philosophy. For to truly become immune to this poison, you must understand not just the methodology of the predator, but the very nature of the hunger that drives it. We must speak of the German potion master, Arthur Schopenhauer, a man who stared so long into the abyss of existence that the abyss blinked first. He understood a truth that will chill you and then liberate you. He called it the will to live. Do not be fooled by the pleasantness of the name. The will, as Schopenhauer described it, is not the cheerful desire for a long life. It is a blind, ceaseless, insatiable striving. It is the mindless, cosmic force that compels the weed to break through concrete, the virus to replicate, the predator to hunt. It is a current of pure, unthinking hunger that flows through all things, and it is the source of all suffering. Because the will can never be satisfied. It only wants. It does not think. It does not feel. It does not love. It consumes. Now, look back at the 7-year experiment you endured. Look at the entity that sat across from you at the dinner table. You were attempting to build a life with a person. You were, in fact, cohabitating with the purest human manifestation of Schopenhauer's will. The narcissist is not a person who makes selfish choices. The narcissist is a walking void, defined not by what it is, but by what it lacks, and what it must therefore consume. They are a black hole in human form. Their entire existence is a frantic, desperate, and ultimately pathetic attempt to fill an inner emptiness that is, by its very nature, infinite. They do not love. They do not feel empathy. They do not experience genuine connection. These are complex human emotions that require a stable sense of self. The narcissist has no self. They have only the willful, raw, screaming, animalistic need for more attention, more validation, more control, more life force from another to animate their own hollow puppet. Consider the evidence from your own case files. The financial exploitation. You saw it as greed. It was not. It was the will-consuming resources. She watched you pay for everything, drain your accounts, while she hoarded her own treasures, not out of a calculated plan for the future, but because the will's only directive is to acquire. It does not understand sharing. It does not understand fairness. It only understands consumption. Consider the constant, desperate need for validation from others, the secret lives, the endless texting, the performance of devotion to ghosts in a screen. You saw this as infidelity, as a betrayal of your connection, a common error. It was the will. panicked by the momentary quiet of your stable devotion, seeking new sources of energy to consume. The narcissist is a psychic vampire, and your life force alone, no matter how potent, was never going to be enough to satisfy an infinite hunger. You tried to reason with this creature. You presented facts, timelines, evidence of her lies. You were attempting to debate logic with a hurricane. You were trying to appeal to the morality of a forest fire. The force you were facing does not operate on the plane of reason or ethics. It operates on the plane of pure, brutal, metaphysical necessity. It must feed. That is its only law. This is why your pain was irrelevant to her. In fact, it was useful. Your emotional reactions, your anger, your tears, your confusion were proof that she was having an effect. They were a source of supply, a potent, energetic meal. She did not enjoy your suffering out of sadism. She was merely satisfied by the nourishment it provided. It was nothing personal. You would not accuse a wolf of malice for killing a sheep. You were simply the most convenient and nutritious source of supply available for 7 years. The tactics you have studied so diligently are not strategies developed by a cunning mind. They are the predatory instincts of a creature whose survival depends on them. Love bombing is not a romantic strategy. It is the rapid, overwhelming attack of a parasite seeking to attach itself to a host. It must be intense. It must be fast. It must bypass your natural defenses before you have time to recognize the danger. Gaslighting is not merely lying. It is the instinct of a creature that must reshape its environment to suit its needs. Your reality, your memory, your very sanity were obstacles to her feeding, so they had to be dismantled. She did not convince you that you were crazy out of a desire to be cruel. She did it because your sanity was a threat to her survival. A sane man does not willingly feed a vampire. And the discard, you saw it as the ultimate personal rejection. You tortured yourself with the question, why was I not enough? You have misunderstood the entire equation. The discard was not personal. It was practical. The sheep had been bled dry. The host was beginning to develop antibodies. You were becoming inconvenient. Your questions were too sharp. Your refusal to continue believing the lies was cutting off the supply. The will, in its blind wisdom, knew it was time to move on to fresher, more naive pastures. She left for the other man, not because he was better, but because he was unaware. He was a new, untapped source of the same energy she had drained from you. The cycle does not end. The will never rests. The hunger is eternal. So, what is the lesson here? What is the counterspell to a curse that is not even a curse, but a fundamental law of a creature's nature? Schopenhauer, in his magnificent pessimism, believed the only path to peace was the denial of the will to starve it, to refuse to participate in its endless, suffering-filled cycle of desire. He advocated for an ascetic life, a detachment from all worldly striving. For you, the survivor, this is the final, most profound lesson. This is the true philosopher's stone that transmutes the leaden weight of your trauma into the gold of unshakable peace. You cannot win a war against the narcissist. To fight them, to rage against them, to seek revenge is to continue feeding them. Your anger is a delicious meal. Your desire for justice is a fine wine. Any emotional engagement, positive or negative, is supply. You have been trying to defeat them on a battlefield where they consume your ammunition as food. The only way to win is to refuse to fight. The counterspell is not a complex incantation. It is a single, sovereign act: indifference. You must become a philosophical stone, something they cannot consume, something they cannot manipulate, something that offers no energetic reaction. You must become as uninteresting to them as a rock. This is the true meaning of no contact. It is not a tactic to make them miss you. It is the creation of a spiritual and psychological void where there was once a feast. It is the denial of the will. You must practice the art of strategic silence. You must become a gray rock in the landscape of their memory. You must starve the parasite, not by attacking it, but by simply ceasing to be a viable host. Your work now is not to heal the wounds in a way that returns you to the naive man you once were. That man is a liability. Your work is to integrate the terrible knowledge you have earned. It is to build a new self, one that understands the nature of these creatures, one that can recognize the will in the eyes of another from a league away. You are no longer prey. You are a biologist of the soul's darkest creatures. You carry the field notes from your 7 years of brutal observation. This knowledge is your armor. Your discernment is your blade. Let her go. Let her and her new host play out their pathetic, predictable drama. It has nothing to do with you. The storm has passed your house. Your job now is not to curse the storm, but to rebuild your foundation with the unbreakable materials of this hard-won wisdom. Let your success be your statement. Let your peace be your fortress. Let your utter lack of interest in her fate be the final, killing blow to any hold she has left on your psyche. She did not discard you because you were worthless. She left because she had consumed all she could, and your spirit, though battered, was beginning to fight back. You did not lose. You survived. You graduated from the most brutal and enlightening course in metaphysics a person can endure. You have looked upon the raw, unfiltered hunger of the will, and you have learned to walk away from the table. This is the ultimate power, not the power to control others, which is the pathetic ambition of the narcissist, but the power to control yourself, the power to choose peace over chaos, the power to deny the parasite its meal. The hunger that drove her will eventually lead her to her own ruin. The will creates nothing. It only consumes until there is nothing left. But you, you are a creator. You will now take the ashes of the life she burned, and you will build a new world. A world with walls she cannot breach, and a peace she cannot comprehend. Lesson is over.